Roseann Kuhn started out as a small-town league bowler. It didn't take long before she felt the need to roll up her sleeves and get to work behind the scenes. From league secretary to league president, then through the association ranks, the state level, and finally, time to cut her teeth at bowling headquarters when she took a job as a field representative with the Women's International Bowling Congress.
I worked very, very hard at studying and reading the rules and the bylaws, because I needed to know everything there had to be known about the Women's International Bowling Congress, because it's big business. It really is big business, and at that time, you're talking about 4 million people that you have to serve, and so it is big business. And it didn't take very long for me to realize that, you know, I really got into something that was much, much larger than I ever anticipated.
After a dozen years on the road, Roseann moved to the rules department and was instrumental in merging the men's and women's rule books into one. And then in 1996, she became executive director of an organization in need of direction.
At the time that I became executive director, membership was taking a big decline. And that was first and foremost in our mind. What are we going to do? How are we going to keep our heads above water? One of my low points was in financials, and so I studied and worked on that. And when I retired, it was one of my strong suits. We looked at our investments and invested wisely, and then looked at other ways of making money, both at the tournaments and otherwise.
Roseann was passionate about getting the women's championships into an arena setting, a dream that was realized when the tournament hit the lanes at the National Bowling Stadium in 1997. And she took it a step further with the 2010 tournament, specially built into the El Paso Convention Center. Mention Roseann's name to anyone and the word integrity is sure to come back. It wasn't just the tireless work she did with bowlers and delegates, it was the way she did it.
The one thing that stands out for me with Roseann Kuhn, having worked for her and with her, was her incredible ethics and her standards. And she was honest, and she did everything, every decision was based on integrity. And that's something that is sometimes rare in the business world and in the sporting world, and Roseann had that integrity.
I want to be an honest and open, good person, and the bowlers were very important to me. And to this day, they still are. I get kind of emotional about it, but they still are.
Perhaps never was that more evident than when the time came for the WIBC to merge with the American Bowling Congress. A merger would essentially be putting Roseann out of a job, but she believed in it, and nobody supported the move louder or stronger.
The merger was important because we saw the handwriting on the wall. It would have been a matter of time before there would have been the demise of WIBC. So why not go out with your heads held up high saying, you know, this is right. I just jumped again in with both feet and said, this has got to happen. And I worked 24/7 for about 4 years, hardest 4 years of my life.
Number of yes votes cast, 1,743.
When Roseann believes in something, it must be good. If she wants it, and if she studied it, and she believes in it, it must be good. She did a great deal more than any other leader, and I've had the opportunity to work with the tops, with the best, that personally I know what she gave to it. She is a Hall of Famer because she gave her heart and soul to bowling.
And she continued to give. Roseann served as the head of tournaments for the new United States Bowling Congress, and even after her retirement continued to help out at the Women's Championships. And now, as she takes her place among the best and brightest in the sport, it all comes full circle.
November 15th, 1974 was the first time I walked into bowling headquarters, and ironically that phone call came 36 years to the day, the first time that I walked into bowling headquarters in Milwaukee. The friendships and just the rapport that I had with the delegates at the conventions, it was just overwhelming. I just never ever thought that something like that could ever happen to a small girl from a small town. It was wonderful.